A little while ago on this channel, I did a video on what I thought were the worst popular songs of the 2020s so far. Today I'm going to do the reverse of that and give you a video on what I think are the best popular songs of the decade so far. Because honestly, contrary to what some people might think, there's been some pretty damn great pop songs in the 2020s, man. There's been some great stuff, and I want to highlight that in this video. I know pop music's in a bit of a weird place. A lot of people are skeptical of it. I get it. I know I am as much as probably you are, but I can always recognize when something's really great, and I want to highlight that in today's video and give you guys 10 picks for what I think are the best popular songs. Keep saying that word to remind you that this isn't a definitive list. That definitive list came out last year. If you want to watch that video of my overall favorite songs of the decade, that video does already exist. Watch that. Obviously, it's a year out now, so anything that came out in the last year or so won't be included. There could be songs that could have been included, but that video will be made again later on, I'm sure. So yeah, if you want to watch that one, give that one a watch. I'm going to give you 10 unordered songs here. I don't usually do an ordered list until like the end of the year or the end of the decade. This is just going to be 10 picks randomly placed. And the last thing I wanted to caveat before we get into the list as well is that I do want to say I'm going to exclude songs that had a resurgence from a previous decade that, got big through a TV show, a film, or TikTok or whatever. I just want to focus on newer songs that have come out in the past 5-6 years that have been big this decade. Because honestly, Running Up That Hill would easily be the winner if we're being real. I think that is probably the best popular song this decade, if we're being honest. But I just wanted to remove those and just give you songs that have been out in this time period. I thought it was just better to do that. If you guys think I should have included those, let me know in the comments. I'm sure you have your opinion on that. But for the sake of this video, just for whatever I'm doing here, I thought it was better to exclude those. So yeah, let me know what your picks would be in the comments, what your thoughts on my picks are. Do you agree with me, disagree with me? Would love to see. And yeah, drop your 10 picks in the comments as well. Would love to see people talking about this, debating, all that kind of good stuff. And yeah, stick around, subscribe, like the video, all that good stuff. Let's go. While I'm not going to go in order, as I said, I do want to start with what's quite easily my favorite popular song of the decade so far. Anybody that knows me well will be very unsurprised to see this and could maybe even guess it before I even say it. But Bad Habit by Steve Lacy. Just love this track, man. I've never found a day where I've gotten bored of this song. I've played it so much. I've heard it out and about a lot. It just has this timeless feel to it. It has this really special feel to it as well. There's just something so youthful, timeless, effortless. Everything feels so carefree. It's just structured in a really cool way as well. I love the idea of the bedroom pop movement kind of having its own moment in the mainstream. We start to see other artists as well break through, like Clairo and that kind of thing. It's cool to see that sound, that sort of indie sound that was kind of bubbling in the 2010s, just break through into the mainstream like this, with also a combination of R&B and pop. It's such a great song. Love Steve Lacy on this track. I think, at times his vocals aren't perfect. They're not pitch perfect. Sometimes he sounds a little rough in places, but it doesn't detract from how, amazing this song sounds overall. I think it's fantastic. I think it's just got such a great vibe to it. I love it, man. I think it's fantastic. It's definitely my favorite popular song this decade so far. It's really cool to see how big it got as well. I didn't quite anticipate it to hit #1. I did think it could get popular, I did say at the time, but not that big. And I think that's really cool to see. I love this track. So yeah, this is a no-brainer for this list. I want to get the obvious one out of the way because this is basically on everybody's list, and honestly for good reason. Blinding Lights. I've talked about this a lot on this channel through the various different types of videos. My Max Martin list, my actual weekend list that I did as well, the top 10 video I did for him. I've sung its praises many times. It's a very obvious song to praise, but it is just that good. It's very hard to find anybody that doesn't like this song. Even Overplay didn't seem to kill this song's hype. Usually hearing a song so often very understandably can just make you less inclined to want to listen to it, even if you liked it when it first came out. It just is the nature of the beast when songs get super popular and you hear them on the radio, you hear them out and about all the time. It can just feel like it's becoming too much. And I think this song became immune to that somehow. I think this is just an anomaly with that kind of thing, where it just felt like the more you hear it, the kind of better it gets and the more timeless it feels. Maybe it's the fact that it's pulling so clearly from that 80s era. It's kind of got a bit of Michael Jackson in there, of course, as it's Weekend. It's also got a bit of like, A Hard Take on Me. It's got like I Ran, Flock of Seagulls in there. Like maybe coming from that era and executing it so well has just made it live as long as it possibly can. I'm not sure, but The Weeknd puts something magic into this track, and it's great to see that like the biggest song on Spotify, the most streamed song ever, is this good. It used to be Shape of You by Ed Sheeran. We had it rough, guys, for a very long time. Okay? It was rough. But the biggest song, the most streamed song to be this good, you can't really get mad at that. I mean, it's even up there with one of his best overall songs. Some people might not rank it in the top 10. Maybe if you're a super hardcore Weeknd fan, you might not have it there. But personally, I would. I think it's in his top 10. I think it's fantastic. Next, I want to mention a track from Dua Lipa's Future Nostalgia, which was a weirdly timed album in that it felt so destined to be played in the clubs, the bars, the parties, and yet we had the pandemic that locked us all in, and this album just didn't really get that moment, really. But there were plenty of tracks on there that got really popular regardless, and the track I'm going to go with is Levitating. The non-DaBaby version, which was never that great ever, honestly, but, I think the original Levitating was an absolute gem of a track, honestly. It was so fun. It's remained to be so fun. I think it's a fantastically executed pop song. It's pulling from, again, the 80s, but also the disco era in a really cool way. Also feels like it's pulling from the 2000s as well in a really special way. It kind of feels like Kylie Minogue at her peak, dropping something from the Fever album or something like that. Like this sound of Levitating feels so indebted to that era of Kylie, and she pulls it off brilliantly, man. Like, it's just so catchy, it's so well executed. The little claps every 5 seconds or whatever don't get annoying, which you'd think they would. Chorus is a smash. Yeah, you could pick many tracks from this album because there was, every song was basically a hit, or at least could have been a hit if you released them as a single. It was just that good in terms of just pure pop magic. But yeah, I think the one I want to go with is Levitating. I think this is a truly fantastic song. I was surprised that there wasn't more hip-hop representation when I started writing my list down for the 2020s. But when I look at the mainstream in the 2020s, it honestly hasn't been that great for rap music. But you got to hand it to Kendrick Lamar and Drake for really reigniting the spark in the mainstream for hip-hop in the 2020s, because it was starting to get pretty dire. Hip-hop overall, I think, is in still a good place. There's lots of fantastic underground, lesser-known releases that come out every single week, obviously. But in the mainstream, it's been dead, man. And Not Like Us is got to get a mention here. Not Like Us has got to get a mention here, man. Just an absolute anthem for the ages. An undeniable smash hit with Kendrick just rapping over one of the slickest, fun beats he's ever come through with Mustard coming through as well, of course, on the beat. Just so many quotables, so many funny one-liners, so many lines delivered with just an insane energy that just never leaves my brain. Like, so many lines just randomly pop up every now and then, completely annihilating Drake, of course. I mean, Drake had already lost by this point, but yet he had to just double down even further and give us one of the biggest smash hits in rap music for a long time and hit with this. Like, I say this a lot, but in the UK, hip-hop is a force. It matters. It is a genre that people care about. But compared to the US, like the charts don't really favor hip hop that much, right? There aren't that many number one hits that come from hip hop. The fact that this was at number one for 2 weeks says how big this song is, man. Like, we don't have that often. We haven't had that for a long time either. So yeah, just kind of goes to show that this is entering those biggest rap songs of all time conversations, and it's been a year and like 2 months or whatever, 2 or 3 months or something at this point. Absolutely crazy. But yeah, love this track. Again, the beat, the flows, the one liners, everything just comes together so well. It's funny. It hasn't really gotten not funny yet either. It's direct, it's purposeful. The bars aren't wasted. He's actually speaking on something and, you know, directing things at Drake that makes sense, that you can kind of point to and go, yeah, that's a thing that you can look into and it's true, or it has some validity. It's a perfect diss track. It's a perfect banger too. Beyonce's longevity will forever be impressive. She's managed to change her sound so many different times and pull off a lot of different genres really well, and still manage to be incredibly popular and successful at the same time, and incredibly relevant and very influential, all by doing that. So I'll always have respect for her in that regard. It doesn't make everything she puts out completely like pure gold, but Renaissance was pure gold in my opinion, and I've got to go with Cuff It from this album. While it's not my favourite track on it, it is quite easily the biggest song from the album and was a smash hit on the charts, so it absolutely deserves to be on this list. I have a lot of fun with this track. Again, pulling a lot from older sounds with the disco energy and the kind of like 80s vibe to it as well. Kind of a bit of a running theme here. A lot of the biggest songs that have been great this decade have kind of been pulling from previous decades, which might say a lot, but hey, I don't know. That's just how I feel. I think these are great tracks regardless. But yeah, the album kind of was more leaning into the house sound, the dance pop sound, like really, really heavily inspired by that genre. And yet this track was one of the biggest tracks on it, and it doesn't quite hit that same note, but it's still a lot of fun, really exciting. It's got this bounce to it. Yeah, great track, a lot of fun here. I have been admiring Billie Eilish's work for some time, but I've never absolutely loved it, and Birds of a Feather was the track that broke through for me and was the moment where I was like, oh wow, like I absolutely love this song. And it really crept up on me the more I heard it, because I did like it a lot on the album. It was my favourite track when the album did come out, but somehow that favourite track became even more of a favourite the more I listened to it. It's just a really like effortlessly beautiful song. Like the vocals on this track, Billie Eilish does get praise for her vocals, but honestly, a lot of the time it's hard to really quantify how good she is, because she often stays in this like lower register, whispery range. But letting it kind of like break free here, and just letting her voice blossom on the chorus and the vocal runs and the harmonies are just like really beautifully executed, man. It's all so stunning. The instrumental I think is absolutely a smasher as well from Phineas. Again, I just felt like they've always had something there, but they just found something truly special with this song. It's just a match made in heaven. Like, it's everything that they've tried to do so far just come together in a stunning way. Love it. Yeah, we're going to talk about Taylor Swift. We're going to do it. There's always enough discourse surrounding her to keep people always talking. I know, I get it. But every now and then she absolutely nails it. And from the very goddamn start, I said this should have been a single, and for some reason they just decided to go with Me and You Need to Calm Down because they're morons and fools. But Cruel Summer is probably like her defining song now, and it always should have been, because it is pure bliss. It's a really, really beautifully executed synth pop track. I think Taylor, when she's kind of like in her element, can really come through with something really special. I just don't think she does it enough, and it doesn't happen often enough. But Cruel Summer is one of those occasions for me, kind of being propped up a little bit by the Eras Tour, because I think it was the first song that she performed during that set, so I think it highlighted it a little bit more for her fans and made it kind of rocket up the charts. And massive amounts of streams. But yeah, it was great before that, honestly. It was one of her best songs even before any of that happened. It is really, really great. It's got its fluffiness to it. It's got its dreaminess to it, which I really like. Chorus is fantastic. That bridge as well. There are like no bridges at all in pop music anymore, man. Like everybody talks about this. I see people complaining all the time. It's always like a trendy TikTok topic, or it's somebody tweeting about how there's no bridges. And I agree. There needs to be more bridges. My throat is being croaky at the thought of no bridges, man. This is what's happening to me. But yeah, it's sad. And this is a killer bridge. It's a killer bridge, man. Speaking of more bridges, Chappell Roan, she brings bridges into her music too, and I think you could pick out quite a few different Chappell Roan songs for your pick. You could do more than one if you want. I mean, I could have honestly justified that. The Subway's a really good track from her, and that's only just come out, and it started to do quite well for her. Of course, there's Pink Pony Club. Again, I would not be mad at you putting that on your own list, but for me, again, I've sung this song's praises many times before, but Good Luck Babe is the one for me. And again, the bridge. The bridge is so good. The bridge is so fiery. It's ferocious. When you wake up next to him, it's so good. And it's a very interesting song topic being explored here. You don't really hear these types of songs in the mainstream very often. I think it's cool to see that there's, a little bit more representation for, LGBT people in pop music now. And yeah, I mean, Chappell Roan is putting out great music at the same time as well. So yeah, I love this one. Again, throwing it a little bit back to classic sounds. I mean, that instrumental feels like very quintessential 80s. There are parts of it as well that remind me a little bit of like Hall & Oates. Of course, there's a sample that pulls straight out of a Sparks song. Like, there's a bit of a running theme with these songs, man. Like, it's straight up 80s worship all the way. The only song so far I think I wasn't like that is Not Like Us, and maybe Bad Habit too. So yeah, maybe it's my bias creeping in here, but honestly, I think these songs do get mentioned very regular as being some of the best of the decade. So it may be just be a sign of our times that's how it's ended up. But yeah, I love Good Luck Babe. I want to mention a track here that would probably not make many other lists, but it was popular, particularly in America. And I wanted to highlight it because I think Chris Stapleton is a really good artist. I think this is best album as well. And You Should Probably Leave was the hit from this album. And yeah, a really great country track. I think as well, with the way country's gone, particularly in the mainstream, it felt right for me to at least highlight one good thing that came out of the mainstream with country music, because I do like the genre. I don't talk about it often on this channel, but I just think a lot of it, particularly, Morgan Wallen and all that nonsense, is just really not good. But Chris Stapleton is one of the few mainstream country acts that's actually fantastic. And You Should Probably Leave is a really nice little fun tale that I think a lot of people's probably experienced, where you're just kind of like having this sort of, I guess, situationship, as people call them now, with somebody, and it's like, should you kind of be going there? Should you not really be doing that? Should you probably leave? I think it tells a really little fun story there with that. Instrumentally, it's great. Yeah, it's just a fun little pop country tune that I wanted to highlight because it is a great track, but I don't know if it would be on any other people's lists, so I wanted to mention it. And yeah, you could also even mention Starting Over, which is a beautiful song, although I don't think that song was as big as this one, so this one made sense to include. And finally, I'm going to talk about what's looking to be like the biggest song in the US of this year, and it is, of course, again, a Kendrick Lamar track, and I wanted to mention Luther as being one of my favorite popular songs this decade so far. We just don't really have songs like this in the mainstream really anymore, in terms of like this R&B pure sound, and it coming from Kendrick Lamar is wild. But of course SZA is on this track as well, and yeah, their chemistry is off the charts here. I mean, we've always known how good these two are together, given the fact that they've collaborated on multiple songs over the years. Before this, of course, every time they do come together, it really works well, and they just kind of blossomed into their best versions of themselves this time. And yeah, with the fact that it's got this Luther Vandross sample, it's a really like pure stunning like R&B soul track that a lot of R&B in the mainstream just doesn't really have that kind of like, I guess, like natural essence to it. Everything kind of feels a bit watered down now. I mean, looking at like the Drake album that came out this year, for example, which was an R&B album, was just pure dog shit. Like, that's kind of just like everything that R&B at the moment represents. It's just kind of like vibey, watered down sound that doesn't feel like it has much of an identity or a pulse, and yet Kendrick Lamar and SZA came through here with this classic vintage sound that really stuns. And yeah, it's a wonderful duet. Yeah, Kendrick Lamar, usually I wouldn't really be saying these words about. It doesn't really fit his usual style or tone, but he really came through this time around. He was testing the waters on Damn with tracks like Loyalty and Love and a few other moments on there. I never felt like he fully pulled them off to the best of his abilities, but with years gone by, he's obviously practiced a little bit more and he's really pulled it off here because it's fantastic. So yeah, I want to mention this one. Love this track. Massively popular as well. Again, like I say, the biggest song of the year really in the US, so pretty crazy stuff. And yeah, I think it's great. And that is going to be it from me. This is my list of my picks for the best songs, popular songs of the 2020 so far. I have had a bit of a cold this week. I've been pretty ill. Some kind of flu hit me or whatever. So my throat isn't at its best. I do apologize if I don't sound my best in this video, but hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully you've stuck around and you've agreed with my picks. And if you don't agree, let me know why in the comments. And what would you replace and have in your list instead? Please stick around for more videos like this. Make sure you're following. Make sure you're liking the videos, sharing them around. And also, if you're feeling super generous, you can check out my Patreon as well, or the membership page. Support me over on there. It keeps the channel going. It keeps the videos coming. I do have a full-time job and also do this, so it's a lot of work. So I hope you guys appreciate that. Do have a good day and goodbye.